try and catch the wind.
Wow, it's been a long time since I've made one of these. You check the dates on these videos, and I've been away for too long. But I'm ready to start a level here with somebody who has my exact first name. What is your name? What the hell are you doing here?
My name is Kevin, and I'm here to watch you play with flowers.
The track record with this show would prove to you that we're not going to talk about anything that would draw you in, because this is Sour Flower, and Sour Flower is the show where the commentary is great and the gameplay is great, but the story's not so great. So we're sitting here with my dogs in my basement, and we're going to play here.
When the lights go down in the city.
First and foremost, what's your favorite color?
Green.
Too bad, because we're starting with blue. Well, this is a night level. This is the only night level in the game. Have you ever played Flower before?
Yes, it's wonderful.
Okay. So have you seen the show before?
Yes.
All right, so then you know why you're here.
Yes, I'm supposed to talk about things that make me sad while you have the time of your life with fucking flowers.
What do you have on your mind?
I figured I'd talk about my father's funeral.
Great.
You know, liven things up a bit.
What happened? How long ago was it?
That was a few months back. I had,
And what? Well, today is we're in September. September what?
Second.
You're on the spot.
5th? Fuck if I know.
Wrong answer. It's no. I've actually had no idea. It's Labor Day today. We're just playing. I think it's September 5th or 6th. I think, but. Anyway, so it was a few months ago now. So all right, so take me through it. What happened and how did you find out?
Well, I was in Thailand at the time with my wife. We were backpacking after our wedding, and we were towards the end of the trip, and it was at night. I was getting back to my hotel room with her, and there was an envelope slipped under the door, and it was a note from the desk that my aunt had called long distance. And at this time of the night, you know, it's like early morning over there, and it was to call her immediately, so I did, and that's when I found out apparently my father had passed away in his sleep in the middle of the night. Unexpectedly, no heart attack, no nothing at 53. Just stopped.
And what relationship did you have with your dad in the past versus sort of now when it was closer to his death?
Well, I didn't really have much of a relationship with him growing up. He was never really there. He was always working, and then due to other things, I grew apart from the family. So I didn't actually hang out or get to know my dad till in my early 20s. So really just in the last 10 years is when I've actually begun to have any sort of relationship with my father. Getting to know him better and building a relationship and understanding who he is and him understanding who I've become and everything. So yeah, it kind of sucked. We weren't super close, but we were coming pretty close, and you know, we were on good terms when he walked out the door, but it still sucks.
Unfortunately, it can't happen for everybody that you have this like great relationship with both parents. I came from divorce, and I love both my parents, and I grew up with them not together, and I think you're in a similar boat. And it was just a situation where you have to get used to knowing one of them really well and the other one like not so much.
Well, I mean, I can't remember when your parents got a divorce exactly, but mine didn't get a divorce till I was 20. But it was mostly that, due to unforeseen circumstances, I grew up with the state more than I did my parents, and when I got out, it was, by then they were getting a divorce, so any chance of actually getting to know him left, and, he moved out of state.
So you told about when you found out what happened and what you were doing, and like honestly, I have to say, it's unfortunate that you found out when you did, but if I recall, you were in Thailand for quite a while and you found out at the end of the trip rather than the beginning. Now, if there was any sort of silver lining to shine on it, I feel like that's got to say something.
Yeah, that, and he was following the trip the entire time, so he got to see our entire trip pretty much, all of the exciting parts till the end before he went, so that was pretty cool too. But when I first called her, I didn't realize it had to do with my dad. I thought it was my grandmother, because my grandmother's been in and out of the hospital for ages. And then the more I thought about it, I asked if it was my dad, and she's like, yes, he died last night. And so at first, all I did was really just shake. Like, my body was shaking, my heart was going a mile a minute. And when it just kind of mellowed out, and then I was just kind of down for the rest of the last 2 days, kind of in a weird funk.
However, if you could have the support of anybody with you, then at least it was a newlywed. I mean, right? That's also going to say something.
Yeah, she was great, and she took care of everything. We went to walk in the parks and just try to do different things to get our minds off of it. And I mean, it didn't help that I had, a bunch of people all messaging me at once, continuously reminding me of it, not allowing me to just fucking process shit.
I know people want to reach out, and they want, because they're doing what they feel is the right thing.
They do what society tells them they're supposed to do. They're supposed to reach out and say, hey, if you need anything, I'm here, and oh, I'm so sorry, and all that nonsense. And
there are genuine people, they believe that, like, they want to feel like they're helping you through a time of need. So you can put yourself in their shoes a little bit and understand, okay, I get that you're trying to help, but I need to just have everyone sort of back off a bit right now.
Right.
What happened at the funeral, and what was that like?
Well, after the first few days of processing, I kind of got all right. I got back that weekend. Unfortunately, the funeral was going to be early next week, so I had a week to suddenly figure out and panic and freak out over how much, getting down to where he was at, which was in Florida, and I was in Missouri. Travel plans for getting there, all the stress and anxiety of just the logistics of a funeral. So I never even really got time to process, hey, I'm going to my dad's funeral. Hey, I'm going to my dad's funeral. People would acknowledge it in conversation, but it never really quite sinks in. So for the most part, I did all right besides the stress of travel till the day of the funeral. And it was really the day prior, because we went to his house, which I had not seen yet, his new home out in Florida. And it was just going through it was just kind of rough, because it was acknowledging that everything he'd ever wanted, the home at the garage, the truck, everything that he had been working for, getting out of debt, for my mom's divorce, and finally getting his life together. He got everything he wanted. He got the home in Florida to retire in. He was deep sea fishing, everything. And he got to enjoy it for a year, and then he went. So that was rough. That was kind of building him like, well, shit, you had all this, and now you're gone. And when I got to the funeral parlor, we were also the first ones there, which I've never had that before. Anytime I've gone to a funeral parlor, it's already filled with people. There's already a line next to the coffin where everybody can meet and greet. I've never been somebody of importance there. I get there, I'm one of the first people there. I'm the child of the deceased. And it was weird. And I was, start shaking.
Bit of a metaphor in-game going on right now.
Yeah, no shit.
But yeah, so you said you were kind of in there, you were alone, and
I kind of got lost. Well, there was other people in there, but they weren't there. Like, they were there, but I was practically catatonic. I was fighting to speak and communicate with people, but I didn't speak. I just kind of stared off. And then it came time where, the ushers come in, and I'd never experienced this time where they tell the family, it's time for your time first, and we're ready for you, and everything else. And I'm not processing that. I'm used to being there 30 minutes after the thing's already started and everybody's filled in. And so they open these big doors, and I start walking, and the only person in front of me is my stepmother. But she's off to the side of me, so I have the entire viewpoint down the aisles by myself. And so for the first time, I am viewing an empty funeral parlor. There's not filled with a bunch of people. There's no one else in there. It's empty. And I'm slowly walking down the middle. And at the end is a coffin, and I'm very quickly acknowledging my father's in that coffin, and he is dead. And it felt like the closer I got towards it, the more I shook, like it was some kind of object of power, so to speak. And the closer I got, the more it broke me. And the shakes got worse, and then I started having some tears finally coming down, because I hadn't even cried yet over this. And it was just violent spasms, violent leg and hand twitching, like just incredible shakes as I got closer and closer. And then there he was, as fake and wax as can be. It was really weird. It was rough. It was finally in your face acknowledgement of this happened. You're here, and here it is. And when everybody else filters in behind you, and they're all crying, and you just kind of get lost in the haze of everything, and you go find your seat. But it was very different from all the other experiences I've had.
I mean, I don't know. It's so cliche, but it's just the first thing I thought of was like, you go to your dad's funeral one time for most people. You know, it's like most people.
Not a friend.
It's not a friend.
It's not an aunt
You grow
that
up
you
with,
have multiple of.
as I said, most people that grow up with one dad. You go to your dad's funeral. It's like this was my dad, and like, man, it's I don't know. It's tough to put into words, and like even you going through your experience, and you did it. You were there, and even still, it's like it's tough to sort of describe your situation and your emotions and what you were going through, and. Yeah, and like you said, it is very different being in there with nobody else, and it's not the end of the service. You're at the beginning. You're at the beginning. You're there before anybody else. As you said, you're there, okay, immediate family first or whatever the situation was, and you're in that group, and you got to go up and like, holy shit, like. So I totally understand what you're saying, and it's a very tough experience to put into words, but, on the good news, I got all 3 secret flowers in this level. Isn't that cool?
Go fuck yourself.